Hello and welcome. Welcome to Conflict Resolution Training. I'm Linda Kroll. I'm a therapist, mediator, attorney, Chopra certified teacher of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda. And I've blended 35 years of experience as an internal family system therapist with everything I've learned along the way to give you some tools today. So thank you so much for being here. I know you have a lot of places you could be. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I will be checking the chat. And I want to start by saying that I usually use slides, but I didn't want to use them today. I wanted to give you the opportunity to take notes if you'd like, or to put notes in the chat at any time, and I will give you the outline of everything we're talking about today. So take a deep breath with me if you would. Whatever you're doing, if you're double tasking, if you give me 30 minutes uninterrupted, I'm going to give you a lot of information. And if you have to leave early, put notes in the chat or direct message me notes, and I will get back to you with the notes from today. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about tools to help you resolve conflict. So think about your own relationship. If there's conflict in your relationship, how do you compassionately communicate? And if you're a therapist, coach, or professional who works with individuals and couples in conflict, how do you help your clients learn how to compassionately communicate? And this is what we're going to talk about. So compassionate communication, how to practice that and teach it. We're going to talk about the 4 needs of the heart and what they are. We're going to talk about the 5 steps to receive what you truly want and need. We're going to talk about how a spiritual graft, G-R-A-F-T, can help you heal your ego's wounds. And then we're going to talk about roadmaps and how I can continue to help you moving forward. All right, so let's start with compassionate communication. Often when a client comes to my office, they are fraught with agony, hurt, sadness, fear, anxiety, whether they come alone or with their partner. So if it's your relationship or you're looking at your clients, they don't know how to compassionately communicate. And there's lots of different ways to compassionately communicate, but I have one that's a little more internal family systems based. In other words, it's predicated on the fact that we all have a healthy self. So think about it for a moment. What is your definition of self? This is what I ask my clients all the time. And self can be God, higher power, spirit, universe. It's that place inside of us that's calm, clear, and compassionate. And we don't usually bring our higher self into a relationship. So if you're taking notes, here's the 4 tenets of compassionate communication. 1, connect to your best self. And I'll show you how to do that. 2, let go of limiting beliefs and judgments. 3, unburden pain from the past. And 4, relate from your heart. So again, a deep breath and think about how you relate or how your clients relate. And when you are in self, you are calm, clear, and compassionate. But we don't always stay in self. We have parts that we exile that are sad and hurt and scared. We try to manage by being nice, pleasing, caretaking, hardworking. And sometimes we get extreme when we can't contain all those feelings. And we act out in ways that become pretty bad habits of communicating. So think about how you communicate with your partner, or think about how your clients communicate. They are judging, blaming, reacting, withholding, shutting down, lashing out. But they don't have to do that. So when you connect to your best self, and I have a guided meditation on my sheet that I will send you to connect to your best self, you start to realize that a lot of the things that are bothering you are old beliefs that you've been carrying around, maybe from your family of origin, maybe from things that happened in your other relationship. So instead of carrying around those limiting beliefs, you start to take a look at them. And then you unburden pain from the past. So what does it mean to unburden? It means to go back, to heal that inner child, to reparent yourself, to learn how to ask for what you want and need. And we'll talk more about that. So once you connect to your best self, let go of your limiting beliefs and judgments of yourself and your partner. When you unburden the pain from the past and don't take it into the present or project it into the future, and you relate from your heart, miracles start to happen. Because what we're looking for are the 4 needs of the heart. So if you're taking notes, here are the 4 needs, and we'll talk more about them. Affection, attention, appreciation, and acceptance. So consider if you could help your clients, or you could start today in your own relationship to bring more attention to your partner's needs, to show more affection, even if you've been hurt, to give them attention and appreciation, a thank you. It will do miracles to shift the energy between the two of you. And teaching your clients how to do that is very persuasive, because it gets them out of the things they don't want, which is usually how they first come into my office. I don't want this. I don't want that. He always does this. She never does that. Gets them out of that mindset and begins to make them feel that they can give more attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. And in giving more will come back to them, because they're coming from their higher self with calm, clear, compassionate energy. And then we teach the miracle of empathy. And the way to teach empathy and the way to practice it, and I have handouts on all of this, it's all on my note cards, and I'll stay to the end to both answer your question, and so glad you're here to answer your questions and to give you the way to reach all of these free assets that I have for you. So let's talk about empathy. Usually people do not speak to each other with empathy. Our egos get in the way. We have our expectations, our judgments, our limiting beliefs. We want to be in control. We're afraid to be vulnerable. But to really show empathy and receive empathy, you have to learn how to speak from your higher self about the parts that you've exiled. In other words, if you have pushed aside since you were little, my father was manic depressive. He yelled a lot. So I was very afraid of anger. I pushed aside my anger. I learned how to be a really good codependent, took care of everybody else's needs. So when conflict came into my relationship, I was afraid of my husband's anger. I was afraid of my anger. And I didn't know how to speak for my anger. And I really didn't even know how to speak for my sadness. Codependents have to learn how to speak for our anger sometimes. And oftentimes people that are very tough and don't want to show their feelings have to speak for their sadness. But when you have the courage to use an I message, so think about your relationship right now. If you go to your partner later and talk to them about something that you want to share, but the message is an I message. When you yell at me, I feel hurt, period. There's no judgment about them. It's just your response. Now, they may not show that they care because they don't know how to do the miracle of empathy, but I'm going to teach it to you. But if they did, they would listen, they would understand, and they would make an amend. They would say they were sorry. They wanted to learn a new way to communicate, and they're sorry. So because your partner's not here, but you are, you could say to them when you see them yelling, I see that you're upset, and I bet there's something that's hurt you. And I understand that when you're hurt, you're yelling. And I'm sorry for anything I did to hurt you. I really want to communicate better, and I'm sorry. Watch that take the wind out of their sails, because you probably haven't been showing them empathy. Or maybe you're codependent and you feel all you've done is show empathy. I'm always the one that says I'm sorry. I'm always the one that makes up first. But the whole miracle of empathy, and I have a handout and video for that I'll offer you, shows you how to use the chart that I give you to listen, understand, and empathize in a way that allows you to connect deeply. So we've talked about compassionate communication. We've talked about the 4 needs of the heart. We're reviewing the miracle of empathy. And I want to talk about the 5 steps to receive what you truly want and need. Okay, if you're taking notes, or again, put notes in the chat, I'll be happy to get those back to you. Or send me a direct message to Linda Kroll, and I will get you those notes. So let's talk about the 5 steps to receive what you want and need. And if you're taking notes, here are the words: remember, deserve, ask, receive, grateful. Here we go. To get what you want and need, you have to know what you want and need. And if you're working with clients and all they do is complain about the other one, or they've come to you to referee their fights, or an individual comes to you and doesn't know what they want anymore, they just want to vent. I don't let people vent very much. In the first session, I stop them, 5 minutes in, and I tell them, I could listen to you tell me all the stories, and then when you left, you won't feel much better. Or I could give you a different perspective. And I give them a different perspective by asking them what self means to them, by telling them about self in parts, by sharing with them that both they and their partner have done the best they knew how to do, and they could do it better. And then I do a guided meditation to let them feel what being in self means, where you're calm, clear, connected, compassionate, curious, confident, courageous, and grateful. And you bring that energy in. So when they come to your office, or when right now, begin to think of it for yourself. Remember, number one, what you want, not what you don't want. Usually people come to me, like I said, and they're complaining and they want me to referee. But let's switch it. Instead of what not to have, begin to think about what you want in your life. You want more fun. You want more passion. You want more intimacy. You want more travel. You want more conversation. Begin to know what you want, because that's the only way you're going to get it. If you don't know, your partner's not going to read your mind, even though you'd like them to, they're not going to. So instead of making your partner read your mind, you're going to begin to make a list. And if you can't remember, because codependence, we lose sight of what we want and need. We spend our whole lives making sure other people's needs are met, that we haven't really met our own needs. So what you need to do is remember, you might have to go back to childhood. What did I like to do as a child? Did I like to paint? Did I like to skate? Did I like to, whatever you like to do, put it down. Because when you remember what you want and need, step 2 is really important. You have to know you deserve it. And here's where many people have challenges, because whatever their burdens are, whatever they learned in their family of origin, whatever they suffered in the current relationship or previous relationships, their self-esteem isn't where it needs to be. Perhaps that's true for you. I know it's true for many of your clients. So helping them remember, helping you remember that you deserve to have what you want and need. You may not always get it. In fact, if you ask for it calmly and you can't get it, you may have to consider whether the relationship is one that you're going to stay in. But you do it from your higher self, compassionately communicating with empathy with these 5 steps. So remember what you want and need, then know you deserve it. And if you don't know that you deserve it, come to my WEDS group, work with me, work with a therapist, because it's an inner child, it's an inner issue of an unresolved burden. Because you do deserve it. I often tell people, in fact, do this with me now. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say 3 words. I am divine. Now say those to yourself. I am divine. Now rate for yourself from a 1 to 10, 10 being I totally believe it, 1 being I don't believe it, and see what number you put down. So just look at your number. If it's not a 10, you've got a burden somewhere. We are all divine beings of light and love. We are humans. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in that human experience, all of our parts get triggered. But we lose sight of the essence, the divine essence of who we are. So you deserve to have your needs met. So remember what you want and need. Know you deserve it, or get some help if you don't know that. Number 3, learn how to ask for it. And once you've done 1 and 2, once you remember and you know you deserve it, your ask becomes a simple request. It's not a nag, it's not a demand, it's not a whine, it's not an ultimatum, it's a request. And give someone a chance to say yes or no. And then if they say yes, receive it. Be willing to receive. That's the 4th part. Codependents don't like to receive. We like to give, but we can receive. And in receiving, we keep the flow of energy going that changes the dynamics and resolves conflict. Because conflict is when our needs aren't met. when we're not getting enough attention, affection, appreciation, or acceptance. But we don't always get that because we're not clear on what we want and need. So step 1, remember. Step 2, know you deserve it. Step 3, ask respectfully, calmly, compassionately. Step 4, be willing to receive. Step 5, stay grateful. Gratitude is an element of your higher self. It keeps a reflection going that will allow you to sit in an energy of gratitude instead of regret or remorse or indecision. So the 5 steps to receive, remember what they are, know you deserve it, learn how to ask for it, be willing to receive, and stay grateful. Okay, so we've covered compassionate communication, the needs of the heart, 5 steps to receive. And I said we'd do it in under 30 minutes, so here we go. Now I'm going to talk about a spiritual graft, Graft. So if you're following along, the thing that I realized a while ago is that most of our conflict, most of our wounds, let's say, come from our ego. We want things to be our way. We grew up expecting a certain outcome. We're disappointed if we're not in control. So when our ego, we have expectations, and many people say that expectations are premeditated resentments. I love that. Expectations are premeditated resentments. So if we show up from our higher self, we are just present. We are not trying to control how the outcome needs to be. But we don't do that all the time. And when you're having conflict, your needs aren't being met. You're not asking for what you want. You're not getting it. And if you don't get what you want and need in a relationship, there is a way to peacefully and respectfully end that relationship. And I'll talk more about that too. But when you are fighting and your egos are clashing, if either one of you can get to self, and if you're working with clients, if you can help them learn how to get to self, and I give you all the tools to help you do that in my trainings, when someone is in self, they can apply a spiritual graft, Graft. You know how like something's bleeding and you take a skin graft and you put it on it? Well, when your ego's wounds are bleeding, use your higher self to put a spiritual graft, which is G, gratitude, R-A, radical acceptance, F, forgiveness, T, trust. So let's say that again. You can put a spiritual graft on your ego's wounds. And here's how you do it. Even if you're in the middle of conflict, even if your clients are in the middle of the conflict, take a moment and be grateful. Be grateful that you've come this far, that you have children, that you have a home, that you have whatever finances you have. Find something for which to be grateful, for your health, for the fact that they may be in counseling with you, for the fact that they're willing to have a dialogue with you. Find something for which to be grateful. R-A, radical acceptance. Big one, big one. It's different from unconditional love. I used to think unconditional love was what I was giving people I love, but I realized radical acceptance is an even bigger gift. That means I accept who they are. I don't need to fix or change them. Now, in some cases, you may have to leave a relationship, but you can still accept without trying to fix, save, rescue, change, fight, demand, all those bad habits you may get into. So when you radically accept the situation, the F in the graft is forgiveness. And you forgive yourself first. First, forgive yourself. And then it will be easier to forgive your partner. And if you can't forgive, that's another burden that needs to be unburdened, because you have done the best you knew how to do based on your level of awareness at the time, based on your family of origin and all you were taught up until this point. So forgiving yourself is the first step to freedom. So I hope you can do that. And the 5th part of the graft is trust, because I want you to trust that you do have a higher self, that even though you may be confused, you might be anxious, you might be scared or guilty or all the different feelings when there's conflict, there is a higher self. There is a peaceful, compassionate center inside of you. And You show that compassion to yourself first. It's been hard. You might be in a tough spot. Your clients are having conflict. So whether you're on the receiving end of this information or you're helping your clients with it, trusting their higher self, trusting a process of healing, of therapy, of mediation, trust in God, trust in something that allows you to stop bleeding from your ego in ways that just create more conflict. So again, the spiritual graft, gratitude, radical acceptance, forgiveness, and trust. So let's talk about a roadmap. I want to give you a roadmap to do all of this. If you are a professional who works with individuals or couples, I'd love to have you go to lindakroll.com and get my roadmap. And my roadmap is showing how to resolve conflict from your higher self, to create a compassionate relationship with empathy, to help your clients explore all their options, understand their rights and finances, and create the relationship they truly desire and deserve. And if you're a professional and you go to that page, it shows you where you can sign up for a 15-minute call with me. I would love to talk to you and just coach you wherever you are and offer whatever I can. And I'm also starting a certification process for the 5th cohort. I did 4 cohorts for many people around the world, and we're starting again in September. And I'd love to share more of that with you if you feel it would be a fit. But go to the roadmap first, get an outline of the compassionate mediation process, and see how you can use more of these tools now. And then I also wanted to offer the miracle of empathy. If you're having problems in your relationship, or if you're working with individuals or couples that are in a loop of dysfunctional ways of relating, there's a video and a handout that I give my clients with a script, actually, how to listen from your highest self, how to speak for the parts of you that are hurt, sad, and scared, not from your judgment or your blame, and how to listen and share empathy. So you can go there and find that. I also want to talk about WEDS because I'm offering a support group for women's empowered decision support. Oftentimes in communication, in conflict, people stew in their own procrastination and indecision for years. So I'm offering a support group for people who want my support ongoing to give you all the information, all the legal and financial information you need, along with emotional and spiritual healing. So that's all in WEDS. And if you want to get a relationship assessment, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I want to offer it to you, and it's all in my notes. So put notes in the chat. So if you get the relationship assessment, you're going to get an assessment of where you are now. How are things in your relationship right now? And then what I want to remind you is that to really resolve conflict, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, to reconcile conflicting parties, you have the ability to understand the suffering of both sides. And if you take sides, it's impossible to do the work of reconciliation. And humans want to take sides. That's why the situation gets worse and worse. Are there people who are still available to both sides? They need not do much. They need only do one thing. Go to one side and tell them all about the suffering endured by the other side. And go to the other side and tell them all about what they're feeling at this side. That's the chance for peace that can change the situation. And what that means is, wherever you are with your partner right now, if you're in conflict, whatever parts they're showing you. So if you're fighting, okay, if it's like a constant battle, recognize that you're both doing the best you can. He might be trying to be cool. You might be trying to be a codependent and take care of everybody and everything. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to talk for the inner child in each of you. I know these are corny, but hey, what the heck? You each have an inner child. You're each suffering. You're each in pain. You're each scared. You're each hurt. So the more compassion you can show, So to review, if you compassionately communicate, you will connect to your best self. You will let go of your limiting beliefs and judgments that you've carried since childhood, probably. You'll unburden pain from the past, and you'll relate from your heart. And as you're relating from your heart, you're going to be able to meet the needs of the heart by giving and receiving more attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. And then you're going to learn the miracle of empathy. You're going to learn how to listen, understand, and empathize. And you're going to learn how to have the courage to talk about your feelings without judging the other person. And then you're going to put a spiritual graft, GRAFT, gratitude, radical acceptance, forgiveness, and trust on any of your ego's wounds. And if you're a professional, hopefully you're taking notes, or we'll get my notes so I can show you how to use these tools. And then forgive yourself and your partner and trust that you're on the road to your highest good. So I thank you. It's under 30 minutes. I'm going to check to see if there's any questions. And I hope you will find ways to direct message me so that I can work with you either in your own relationship, to teach you in my upcoming certification or my trainings. By the way, my trainings for therapists and coaches are approved by the National Board of Certified Counselors and the International Coach Federation. So if you need some continuing education credits, direct message me. I have some courses for you that are evergreen, which means they're online. You can take them yourself or they'll be live with me. So let's take a breath and see if we can relax into some kind of trust that you got some tools here today. And the only person you can change is you. So if you are the only one who learns this in your relationship, if you're working with only one person in a couple, and you help get to self, that calm, clear, compassionate center. And I also have a care kit that I want to give you. So I'm going to give you this one too, because in this care kit, I give you that guided meditation. The guided meditation I give to my clients is in the care kit along with the relationship assessment. And you'll be able to see how you're showing up now and how to bring your best self in. So again, just to remind you that you are a channel of love and a beacon of light. And I know that's corny, but we can make a difference. We can hopefully change the face of divorce one heart at a time. So that's what I'd like for you, is to realize we can help people compassionately communicate. We can help them learn how to bring their best self to the relationship to resolve conflict. We can help them learn how to ask for and receive what they want and need with empathy, and how to heal themselves with a more spiritual perspective of their view on life. So again, under 30 minutes, from my heart to your heart, namaste. The light in me sees and appreciates the light in you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much. If you're seeing the replay, again, put notes, direct message me or put it into the chat, and I will get back to you with anything you need. I'm going to stay on in case. I will definitely send you those notes, and anyone listening later, sending a lot of love. Thank you again. I'm very passionate about helping people resolve conflict and helping train other professionals to do so. Because as I said, in my 35 years, I've helped thousands of individuals and couples. I put together a training with all the templates, the videos, the handouts to give you everything I do so that it's at your disposal. So check the roadmap, get back in touch with me. And again, we did it in under 30, sending love, sending thanks, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.